Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Thomas Bailey, joined by multiple guests here today, including Alex Miley, Richie Miller, Sebastian Sierra, Joe Lascala, and Isaiah Marquez. As we welcome you back to another episode of Buffalo Sports Insider, make sure you like and follow the website, buffalosportsinsider.com. A ton of great articles put up every single day, so make sure you go check that out. Other than that, make sure you like, follow, and share on our Facebook, X, and YouTube pages, as we're right there as well on Buffalo Sports Insider. As we're going to get started here right away with the Buffalo Sabres, who are coming off a 3-2 loss against the Vancouver Canucks last night. It was a tough game for that one. I mean, the teams combined for a couple of goals in the third period, three of which. And Buffalo kind of didn't really get going until the final 10 minutes of this game, and it kind of made them lose this one. Other than that, though, Elias Pettersson nets 2 goals for the Vancouver Canucks, 2 for Rasmus Dahlin as well. Devin Levi was called up for this game for the Buffalo Sabres, had 31 saves on 33 shots as well. As Alex, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, other than Levi, this was a terrible game. I understand that Vancouver is one of the best teams in the league, but we're fighting for a playoff spot.
We have to gain ground, so we can't really afford to lose too many games. So the fact that we played this bad in a game that we needed to at least hopefully send to overtime.
Other than Levi, though, because Levi was amazing. He saved 31 on 33 shots after being called up being in the AHL for a while. And even though he allowed 2 goals, the bigger picture was the shot amount, and it was just a lot of high danger shots. They were getting quality look after quality look, and it just didn't matter. He was an absolute brick wall in there. But besides that, and Dahlin's 2 goals, they played terrible throughout the entire game.
Yeah, Buffalo did continue their little bit of a sad streak here as the season nears its end. Buffalo did keep it close for a little while, despite it looking very lopsided for the first 2 periods. Rasmus Dahlin, of course, with those 2 goals, he played his heart out in this one. It was a really sad game. Aside from Dahlin and Levi, though, as you mentioned, Buffalo's comeback fails here, and they take a tough one in British Columbia, as it's just a really sad night of hockey for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, this team, it's so frustrating because they'll have games like last night against Seattle, or not last night, Monday night against Seattle, where they go and win 6-2. Everyone's playing well. Skinner gets a hat trick. Or even last week when the first game against the Red Wings, the first game against the Islanders, they're dominating. They're pushing the pace on offense. And then they followed up with just a stinker where they're not doing anything on offense. They're not pushing the pace. They're having stupid turnovers in the defensive end. And for a team that's trying to break the streak, trying to make the playoffs, the fact that they can't even string along 3 good played hockey games is just extremely annoying.
Yeah, man, it's really difficult for Buffalo to win back-to-back games. It's very difficult for them to find that stride and keep it going. So when we get on a hot streak, it means something. And that's something we had for a little while. It kind of gave us some hope as we're now 5 points back of a playoff spot, 7 after the loss last night, and Detroit winning. So it's a real tough stretch here for the Buffalo Sabres. It's going to be very difficult for them to turn it around. But they'll attempt to tomorrow night when we take on the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers and the Sabres played a couple of, what about like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and Owen Power scored with like 2 seconds left in overtime. You would think that Buffalo won the game. However, the goal was overturned for an offsides call on Bowen Byram. So the Sabres would have to do it again, and they would indeed, as Tage Thompson fired home a shootout winner to send Buffalo past Edmonton. That was an amazing game. We'll hope for another repeat of that one in this one. Edmonton is entering off a 3-2 win in overtime against the Montreal Canadiens. The Oilers are 41-21 and 4 for 86 points. They're second in their division, the Pacific Division, and 5th in the entire Western Conference. One of the best teams overall. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10 games, and their starting goaltender for this one will be Stuart Skinner. On the opposite side, of course, you have our Buffalo Sabres, who are, of course, entering off that 3-2 loss to Vancouver. Aside from that, the Sabres are 33-32-5, the definition of right on the cusp of greatness there. But 71 points overall for the Sabres. They're 6th in the Atlantic Division and 11th in the entire conference. Buffalo will have Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the goal for this one. Alex, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, and as much as inconsistent as the Sabres have been, they haven't been consistently bad for a long period of time, which is why they've been in this race the entire time. They haven't had a bad streak. So even though they played so bad against Vancouver, I think they figured it out. I think they're going to play more like they did on Monday against Seattle, and I think they're going to pull out a 3-2 hard-fought win against Edmonton just like they did last time. I expect UPL, after his much needed rest. I expect him to have a really good game, and I really do expect the Sabres to be able to bounce back with this one.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Richie and Sebastian. What are your quick thoughts on this one?
I think all we have to do is just hope and pray and say, let's go Buffalo, because I don't think they're going to do this. It would be one thing to bounce back,
but Edmonton is one of the best teams in the league. They have the best player in the league, so I don't see it. But they could. It's any given day in hockey, really. So.
Yeah, I got to agree with Richie. I don't think that the Sabres will be winning this game. Realistically, they have to play defense and offensively together in order to really play together as a whole. If they can play together as a whole, I think they can do it. With UPL, I believe that he could have a great game as well and possibly even hope leading to maybe a 6th shutout this season. But that's if they all play together, offense, defense, and even goalie as well.
Yeah, as that's going to end our Buffalo Sabres segment. We'll be back for the Buffalo Bandits segment right after this.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. We're ready to go for our second segment, which today is going to be the Buffalo Bandits. We're coming off an impressive win against the Toronto Rock, who ranked first in the entire NLL. Their second win against the Toronto Rock this season, 14-12. As it was a high-scoring opening period of play, Buffalo led 6-5 after the first period, and then 4 unanswered goals in the second period made Toronto the winners at halftime, at least, 9-5. As Buffalo really couldn't get anything going in the second period. A very, very upsetting way to start that one. Toronto just kind of dominated that entire period, and it made us a little hopeless that Buffalo was going to come back. But that's when Buffalo started to take some of the momentum back in the third period. They still trailed 10-8 at the end of the period, but they did outscore Toronto 3-1 in that period. Other than that, though, Toronto couldn't keep their upbeat play going in the fourth quarter, as Buffalo would find a way to make it a 14-12 victory. They had an amazing stretch there in the fourth quarter with like 8 minutes to 3 minutes left, where they just scored 4 unanswered goals and took away the Toronto Rock's title as the best team in the NLL. It was an amazing stretch, and I'm going to kick it to you guys. What are your thoughts on this one?
Overall good game, but Bandits really had to stop with the penalties, where they had 8 altogether.
In that one game, which almost cost them the game. Josh Bond and Dane Smith both had a good game where they both had 7 points. And just alone, if they just keep playing the way that they're playing, they're going to keep taking it to the next level. And I see a lot of potential for this future for the Bandits.
And let's talk about what the Bandits have really done at KeyBank Center. They've won 8 of their past 9 games at home against the Toronto Rock there. And they had over 18,000 fans in attendance. And it really goes to show for lacrosse, which is not a very nationally popular sport, and Buffalo, which is a very small market, to almost sell out a crowd. And, you won the championship last year to build such a storied program in such a small city. It's really a testament. I don't think enough people really talk about the Buffalo Bandits, but what they've been able to do in the past couple of years has been incredible. And yes, there are penalty concerns, but they did take over the title as the top team in the NLL, beating the Toronto Rock. And I do believe the Bandits could repeat this year.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to their veteran leadership, like players like Dane Smith. They were able to go down early. They didn't have it in the first half.
But they were able to rally. They were able to get it.
Second half, especially in the fourth quarter where it mattered. That's where your veterans step up like Dane. And I think it's just a testament to how it's been this season. They started out well, then they had a tough going in the middle of the season. They dropped a couple in a row, but then lately they've started to pick it up, play better. They've won a couple as of late, and I think that they have the players, they have the talent to be able to go on a run, to be able to repeat as back-to-back champs.
Yeah, it's been an impressive season for the Buffalo Bandits. They've won back-to-back games against the Rush and now the Rock, as they kind of continue this pattern into their next game, which will be again at home, I believe, as this is going to be in another just impressive season from the Bandits. We're hoping that they make the playoffs. They're right there on the cusp right now. They're in the playoff spot. Of course, 18,643 fans were in attendance for this St. Patrick's Night event. An amazing game from Buffalo, an amazing stretch as of late, as the Bandits will look to continue it over the weekend. Other than that, though, that'll end this segment. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned on Buffalo Sports Insider.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
And how's your serve coming along?
Not so good.
I think we should work on it this weekend.
Amy's birthday bash slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made.
Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm here, and we are
Being joined by Joe Lascala to talk about some college hoops. The tournament officially was underway yesterday with first 4 games between Wagner and Howard and Colorado State and Virginia. So first, I would like to talk about Wagner versus Howard. It's a 16 seed. It's unlikely that either of these teams will beat UNC, who Wagner is ultimately going on to play after winning 71-68. Melvin Council Jr. had 21 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds for Wagner. They pretty much had control of this entire game until the end, where they almost collapsed a 14-point lead late in the second half. Howard had a chance to make 3 separate three-pointers to tie the game and send it to overtime, and missed all 3 of them during the final possession. Joe, what were your opinions on this game?
It was a very entertaining game, especially at the end there. I think it was the last 6 seconds, 3 straight opportunities, and he looked at 3 to tie the game and send this to OT. You hate to see it for Howard, but Wagner their entire team fought the entire game. And I like to see a team from New York succeed. So I'm pretty happy. I know 16 seed against a 1 seed doesn't exactly have the best track record in March Madness, but you never know, and it's exciting to see what they do in this tournament.
So, surprisingly, or I guess unsurprisingly, when you consider the 16 seed game was much more entertaining than the 10 seed game. The Colorado State Rams simply blew out Virginia 67-42. Virginia only had 14 points in the first half and went in almost an hour without scoring. They even had a graphic where they showed they haven't scored since a time. They didn't say they haven't scored in this many minutes. No, they said they haven't scored since this certain time. And a lot of people are questioning, was putting Virginia in the tournament the right move? I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Virginia basketball is a very boring product, very defensive heavy, but they just cannot score. They're kind of like the Iowa football of college basketball. So, Joe, do you think it was the right move putting Virginia in? And if not, who do you think could have been in over them to play this first 4 games against Colorado State?
I think it was the right move to put them in. It's just, I don't know what they're doing with their season on the line. You're an ACC program. You just won a national championship a few years ago, and you come up with a performance like that. I believe they were 3 of 17 from 3. You cannot give that effort and that performance in that game. Your season on the line. Seniors need to be playing harder. This is their last chance. So I do agree it was the right move to put him in, but that display was horrible, absolutely horrible.
So as much as we're trashing someone, I would like to commemorate Joel Scott of Colorado State, 23 points and 11 rebounds, just a great game, as well as Nick Clifford, who had 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Do you think Colorado State could beat Texas or go even further in the tournament?
I don't see them beating Texas, but it's definitely possible, especially when you blow out an ACC program like that. That's a lot of momentum going into the tournament. I think Texas is really good, though. I think Texas is one of the lower seeds that has a potential to make some noise in this tournament. So I don't expect them to win, but this is March. Anything's possible.
So there will be 2 playing games tonight, another 16 matchup of the Grambling State Tigers versus the Montana State Bobcats, and then another 10-seed matchup between the Colorado Buffaloes and the Boise State Broncos. So Colorado is actually led by a potential lottery pick, Cody Williams, who is the brother of Oklahoma City. I'll throw in the word star there because he's having a great season, Jalen Williams. He's like a 6'8" two-way forward. But who do you think wins these two games, Colorado State versus Boise, and then who do you think wins Grambling?
Yeah, I think Colorado gets it done. A prospect like Cody Williams doesn't normally go to that small of a program. He's legit, and he will make noise. He's great on offense, can shoot, great on defense, especially around the perimeter. So I believe Colorado will get it done as Boise. And Grambling versus Montana State, not the most exciting matchup or in a grand scheme of things, important matchup. But I'll have to go with Grambling. I just think as a team, they gel together more from the few games I've seen compared to Montana State.
All right, before we go, what are the rest of the cast predictions for tonight's game?
Man, I'm going to start it off here, and I think that I agree with Joe here. I think Colorado's going to take down Boise State.
I think it'll be a handily victory. Aside from that, I think Grambling State could pull it off, but I'm going to just kind of stick with Joe here. I feel like this is kind of just the beginning phase of March Madness. There's a lot to still happen, so I feel like this is just kind of the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like tonight would definitely be an upset night for both teams, Grambling and Colorado, as they both
lose. As Montana's beating Grambling and Boise State is beating Colorado tonight, I think it's going to be an upset.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Colorado winning this. I think just the star power they have with Cody Williams, I don't see Boise State being able to keep up. But I will go with the upset in Grambling State. I think March Madness upsets are bound to happen. I think that one ends up being an upset.
I will go with Colorado and Grambling. That's who I picked on my bracket, but this is only the first four. We still have yet to start the round of 64, so should be a very exciting tournament.
Very true.
And that concludes our college basketball segment. We'll be back to talk baseball.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Okay, it's like 5 minutes.
I got my notes right here.
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're going to take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider, and joining me to talk baseball today is Isaiah Marquez. With the MLB season is right around the corner, as opening day started today with the Dodgers beating the Padres 5-2. As the season begins, let's discuss some teams that could potentially make the World Series. Favorites to make it this season are the Dodgers, Braves, Astros, Yankees, Orioles, Rangers, and Phillies. But some other teams to look out for include the Blue Jays, Mariners, Cubs, Twins, Cardinals, and the Diamondbacks. What's one team that catches your eye this season, Isaiah?
I feel like the Yankees, man. I feel like after missing a playoff run, it's in years. The Yankees haven't missed the playoffs in years. And for that to happen with arguably one of the best players in the league with Aaron Judge, it's absolutely disappointing. But I feel like with the acquisition of Soto and just the top-heavy lineup that we have, I feel like it can give pitchers a hard time.
Now, with the Yankees not making the playoffs last year, where do you think they'll stand this upcoming season?
Like I said, I feel like the lineup that the Yankees have right now is going to give pitchers a lot of trouble. You have a top-heavy lineup, and with a potential 50 stolen base player at the bottom half of your lineup who has the ability to get on base, the ability to steal bases, that gives pitchers a lot of trouble when trying to pitch to Aaron Judge and Soto.
See, I believe the Yankees can have a very powerful outfield this year with Verdugo, Soto, and Judge all playing together. But how do you think Juan Soto will affect the current Yankee roster?
Yeah, so the addition of Soto gives the opponents an even harder time trying to pitch to them. Like I said, with Volpe at the bottom half of the lineup, who has the potential to get on base, a lot of pitchers weren't pitching to Aaron Judge. Now you have someone who can get on base, and then someone after Judge by the name of Juan Soto, who's arguably one of the best players in the league. It gives pitchers a hard time trying to get in the batter's head, trying to get into the team's head. It's just it's a lineup to cause havoc.
Now let's turn it around to everybody. Who do you guys think will win the Super Bowl not the Super World Series this year?
I think it's a 5-team race. I think you got 2 out of the top 2. The Dodgers obviously are always in it, and then with the additions of Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, I just think that lineup is unstoppable. The pitching staff's still really good, but I'm not going to leave out the Braves because last year they were the best team in baseball. They had the best lineup. Then they also added players like Chris Sale in the offseason. They didn't really lose anyone. They're a young team. They should continue. Behind Ronald Acuna be really good. And the AL, I think it's a 3-team race. I think you got the Yankees now that you have Soto being able to hit behind Judge so pitchers can't pitch around him. I think that offense is going to be unbelievable. Players like Marcus Stroman getting added to that rotation should hopefully help smoothen that out. And then you got teams like the Astros who are always in it. They've been so dominant for so long. And then you obviously can't leave out the Texas Rangers. They just won it last year. They didn't lose anyone. They're bringing back stars like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. I think they're primed to be in contention again this year.
I agree 110%. I think that both conferences are going to be very competitive between the top 3 or 2 teams. I really like the Atlanta Braves a lot. I like the Dodgers too, but the Dodgers always find that way to kind of just underperform, my way of saying it, I guess. They always have one of the better teams in the league, but they never really can perform in the postseason. And I feel like the Atlanta Braves will probably end up going all the way this year. I have a very good feeling on that. Other than that, I think that the Texas Rangers are a team you can't leave out. Of course, they just won last year. There's a lot that goes into the Yankees as well. I would assume probably Yankees or Braves more than anything here, but I really like Atlanta this season.
And I don't want to overthink it. The Dodgers
were already one of the best teams in baseball for the past couple of years, and then they just added the best player in baseball who could pitch and hit at an elite level in Shohei Ohtani. I really think it's their league to lose. Obviously, like you said, the Dodgers do have a history of postseason collapses, but they did win it fairly recently. And as far as the AL, I think the MLB really wants a Dodgers-Yankees World Series because those are the 2 biggest markets, 2 biggest fan bases. But I'm going to go with the surprise team. I think the Dodgers beat the Orioles in the World Series. I think they have a great young roster. I think they've really just started their dynasty, and I think Adley Rutschman, along with Cedric Mullins, John Means, they could really pull off a World Series run. And I'm going off on a limb, but I'm going to go Dodgers over Orioles in the World Series.
So now a lot of you guys are mentioning the Dodgers winning the World Series, but do you guys honestly believe that they're going to get the same Ohtani that the Angels have had?
I don't think that it's going to be the same Shohei Ohtani. Of course, the injury is going to sideline him from being able to pitch this year. I feel like being only the hitter is not going to be too bad. But at the same time, that duality of like kind of player is what really made Shohei Ohtani so valuable to the Dodgers. And of course, that mega deal that he signed in the offseason is mainly because he can do both. So only having one for this season is kind of playing into why I feel like this team is not going to end up being a World Series contender.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with that because I think that Ohtani is such a great hitter that I think he's going to be awesome behind Freeman and Mookie Betts. That I think it shouldn't matter. And their pitching staff's already deep enough where it won't matter.
The unbelievable bat that he is, the unbelievable presence he brings to the plate. He literally puts fear in these pitches. Fear in these pitches once he steps to the plate. And after a win last night, there's many more to come. I feel like the Dodgers should be fine.
And that's it for the MLB segment today. And now I'm going to pass it back to Thomas for the outro.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Buffalo
Sports Insider. We do appreciate everyone who tunes into these shows. Of course, take a look at BuffaloSportsInsider.com. A ton of great articles every single day. Aside from that, like, share, and follow our social medias, YouTube, Instagram, and X. Go follow us there. Thank you all again for tuning into another episode of Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Thomas Bailey. Joined with me today is Sebastian Sierra, Isaiah Marquez, Alex Miley, Richie Miller, and Joe LaScala.